Following small foreshadowings in characters' dialogues and background elements of the new Owl House episode, we can not only figure out Collector's past, but the past of his entire species. Yes, that's right, the Collector is, or at least was, not the only one of his kind. If we look at several paintings in his house, we can actually notice a figure that very much resembles him, not only by clothing, but also by body form. It seems like he is looking at bigger versions of himself. There are usually 3 or 4 of them. And if we go back to King's Tide, Kikimura says that the Collector is a child of the stars, and King also mentions that the Collector is a kid, who is now alone, and that he can relate to him. This means that the Collector may be the last of his species. According to Lilith, we know that the Collector has predecessors who could be knocked out by Titans, and that is the reason why Titans were being slayed and hunted on. A Collector in itself must be kind of a god figure that people would obviously serve and bring sacrifices to. That is actually depicted in some of the paintings where Titan trappers try to kill Titans. Once again, that's the reason King's Death trapped the Collector, to preserve his own species. Speaking about Collector's species though, he's probably a child of actual gods, and his parents may have not even wanted to kill Titans, as Collectors and Titans weren't doing any harm to each other originally. But in my opinion, it is actually the opposite. All Collectors wanted to get rid of Titans, to get rid of the only real threat they had at the time. As we can see, they had access to several planets of their universe, and if we return to the story King was reading to the Collector for Night, it was about the Collectors, and probably even written by the Collectors, as it often uses the word we. At first, I thought this was supposed to be some kind of prophecy, but looking at it at a different angle, you can actually see that this is Collector's life cycle described on paper. Collectors live long, we watch things pass. This refers to Collectors being actual immortal gods who watch all other sentient beings pass as the time moves on. To preserve, to observe, we must amass. At first it seems like it refers to the need of Collectors to gather in order to do something powerful, but that makes little sense as one Collector can already basically conquer an entire planet. However, the next line says, what flies, what swims, be it predator or prey. And this is exactly what the Collectors must amass, to preserve and observe it. Seal them up so they may never fade. That's exactly what the Collector is doing right now to the Boiling Isles. Turns everyone into unliving puppets who can do nothing but follow orders. But let's read the last line, which the Collector insisted on skipping, and reading his correction. But should they meddle in our affairs, we'll clean the planet and scorch the air. This means that if anyone doesn't follow their orders, they will destroy the planet in its entirety. But looks like our Collector didn't want to follow his predecessors and thought having fun is much better. That's what a child would think. Having fun is their ultimate goal. In one of the paintings we also see the Collector make friends with baby Titans. At the end of this page we even see people give some gifts to the Collectors, likely in order for them not to destroy the planet. But as we saw at the end of the episode, Bellows convinced the Collector that everyone betrayed him. And so the Collector doesn't want to play silly games anymore. He'll just likely become the same thing his predecessors were. So maybe when the Collectors came to conquer the Boiling Isles, the Titans there were fighting back. And if the Collector is the last one of his species, then it means Titans were successful. But in the end, only 2 Titans remained alive, King and his dad, who couldn't completely defeat the Collector, so King's dad sacrificed his life to trap the last Collector, leaving King protected on a hidden island. By the way, I mentioned this in one of my older videos, but it is likely that this island belonged to Titans. Otherwise, why would they hide King there? And carvings there probably show Titans fighting the Collectors, as we now see the Collectors were actually very giant, several times larger than our Collector. Perhaps if Season 3 wasn't cut short, we would see more ancient books that actually state Collector's origin and past, as well as of the Boiling Isles. As for now, this will either have to be fit into the last episode, which will likely come out in spring, or we will have a dedicated Owl House book, the same way Disney did with their previous popular shows. I honestly can't believe only one episode of the Owl House is left. It's been such a good time following the show, and I wish this time would last as long as possible. That's only one of the videos I wanted to make discussing this episode, so if you wanna see more, consider subscribing to the channel, giving this video a like if you enjoyed, and leaving a comment down below on what your thoughts are. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.